CA Preeti Devpura. Here in this video, we are going to look the cases when we should mail or when we should not mail, whether to mail is the right choice or not. I went to my boss cabin, Mr. Chandrasekhar, and he told me to invite all the team members of our team to discuss on Project Tikona. Let's see the sample mail, how I should draft a mail, to arrange a face-to-face meeting or say a conference meeting. Let's see the sample mail for face-to-face meeting. 2. I will write to all the participants whom I am inviting in the meeting. CC I will mark to my boss, and in the subject I will write meeting invite for Project Tikona at 27th September 2020 and so time, that is 11 am. Then in the body of the mail I will write dear all, we have a meeting for Project Tikona at 27th September at 11 am in boardroom. Please be available on time. Let's take another example. Suppose all the colleagues are at different locations. Then how I should write mail and hold a meeting. Here I will conduct meeting online, either through Zoom or WebEx or any other organization software. Let's see the sample mail in this situation. 2. I will mention all the participants' mail IDs, CC to my boss because he has told me to conduct a WebEx session. In the subject, I will mention the subject like this: WebEx session on 26 September 2020 at 4 p.m. So the subject is very clear that there is a WebEx session on so and so date and at so and so time. In the body of the mail, I will mention the details. Dear Priyank, please arrange a WebEx session on 26 September 2020 at 4 p.m. I will mention the call log which I have raised the request online. Then in the participants, I will mention the participants' mail IDs. Then signature, thanks and regards, CA Preeti Devpura. After this, when the WebEx session is arranged, Priyank will share me the WebEx link and also mark to all the participants. Then we all can join the meeting. Let's take another situation in which you have to mail a document. Let's take an example how I write a sample mail to share a document. Subject, print color catalog. I have mentioned that what I need a print color catalog. In the body of the mail, I will write, Dear Anuradha, please find attached color catalog and get the printout ready from page number 1 to 10, front and back. We can also use email to send a reminder. Like in the previous example, I have told Anuradha to get the printouts ready from page number so and so, front and back. But I have not received her printouts from last 2 days. So I will send a reminder to her. Let's see the sample example. Subject same, print color catalog. In the trail mail, I will reply her, Dear Anuradha, gentle reminder. Can we mail to our colleagues about an informal update? Let's see the sample example for informal update. I remember the time when I was on a long Diwali break and I bought sweets for my colleagues. So I thought how to invite them. Should I call them 10 colleagues or should I write a mail? So I thought to write up a mail to the colleagues to invite, as it's quite easy instead of calling each and everyone. So in the to all the team members to whom I wanted to invite. Then in the subject sweets. Then in the body of the mail, dear all, kindly join to have sweets which I bought back from my hometown, especially for you. Timing 11 a.m. Then location A block, reception 6th floor. That's it. Can we make a request on mail? Yes, we can. Let's see the sample mail. Subject business EBITDA. In the body of the mail, dear Priyanka, request you to please share the revised business EBITDA file at the earliest. Here one small note to be kept in mind, that while sending the revised business EBITDA file, that is making changes in the original file and resending it, so it's always better to modify the name a little or put underscore and today's date so one can distinguish the new file or old file. Have you ever shared large documents on mail? Obviously you cannot. There is a limited space in the domain, so you can send your files only up to that extent. So if you have to share big files to anyone in the organization, what you can do is you can place the file in the server and you can share the path to the other person that you have placed the file in the following path. Then they can access it. But suppose you have to share big file outside the organization, then how you will share it? You have to find some other medium to share it. Like you can use WeTransfer site to share your data till 2 GB. Or you can break your file into parts and then you can share it so it is within the data limit and you can share the separate mails in continuation of that mail. Informal communication, like talking to your colleagues about your personal matters or friendly talk, or you are chatting very casually like for a wedding or for an office party. Obviously you cannot throw a mail for that. Let's see a sample mail for informal communication. Hi Anurag, how are you? I got a new bike. Then I've drawn an emoji. This we should not mail to our office colleagues. To point out a significant error or problem. Suppose we as a team giving details always late, that is not on deadline, and it's affecting other departments also as they are not able to meet the deadline because they are dependent on our work. So as a boss of my team, I have to identify why and where there is delay. I have to understand that. So for that, it's better to have a discussion meeting and ask each one of them like what is their work, how they do it, and how they can do simultaneously so that the work can be finished on time. Instead of like I'm asking on the mail to jot down all your points, how you do, how you proceed. So no one is going to read the mail, and I am also not able to understand what's going on behind. So it's better to have a discussion meeting rather than on mails. And we have to avoid mails in such situations. When the matter is very urgent and you need to get the work done, then in that situation you should call that person personally, because if you mail them, there can be a delay in response. The recipient has not seen the mail. It may not be intentional, but it happens due to the busy schedule, or the mail goes to junk folder, or he missed to read that mail. Then it's better to call that person, and after that you can mail them that as per telephonic conversation we have discussed so and so, so please get the work done. Personal, difficult or significant issues, obviously you cannot throw it in a business mail. When you haven't proofed your mail, you should always be doubly sure before you shoot a mail. Read twice. As I said in previous video, that your mail can be forwarded to anyone, and if it's forwarded to anyone, then later on it can create a bad impression. So never ever throw a mail blindly. You cannot write a mail to distribute your novel or marketing your YouTube channel or a blog. Also, you cannot write a mail to look busy. Like you are writing a mail to your boss that you are busy in this work and you cannot do assigned work. This really makes your impression bad. Instead, you can set your priority, what is urgent, and work simultaneously. Let's understand the terms used in mail to CC, BCC and subject one by one. To interprets the people to whom you are sending the mail, means the recipients. Here you can mail to a single individual or to few individuals. CC stands for carbon copy. Remember, you should always mark your boss because of two strong reasons. First one is your boss may have different opinion than your drafted mail. Second one, he may want to give some useful insight on the subject. BCC is the blind carbon copy. As the name states, that the other recipients wouldn't be able to know that someone else has been sent a copy of this email. You should move a person to BCC only when it is necessary, like when he is no longer part of the conversation on a thread. Then you can move to BCC so that you can make sure that he knows it, what you do it. Subject line can also be a great place to make it clear what next steps are. If the matter is very urgent, try adding the deadline in the subject line itself. Like, for example, I need it by Tuesday. I need it by the end of this month, so that the person can accordingly prioritize his work. As a general practice, one should never change the subject line, because a lot of people use PIMs, that is personal information management, like sort of filter based upon the discussion threads. They rely on the subject line for its continuity. Also, generally, it is confusing to people who are trying to track the conversation, and some people might not understand the purpose why the subject line was changed. So, the subject line should not be changed. Overall, your subject line should grab the attention of the reader so that it boosts to read him the body of the mail. Let's see some more examples on the subject line. Suppose my system is not working properly. So I wanted to check whether my Outlook is working or not. For that, I will mail someone. So in the subject line itself, I can write test mail and the subject line is very clear on it. Suppose I have to write request to NetAdmin team for the approval request for VPN access. Then how should I draft my mail? In the subject line, I will mention clearly approval request for VPN access. Not this, that only VPN access I will mention. I will mention approval request for VPN access. And in the body of the mail, dear sir, kindly approve for VPN access. See the next example. I have drafted it as follows. Dear all, request you all to please go through the attached file and give your responses. And I have sent to the recipient. Oops, I have left the subject line blank. So never ever leave your subject line blank. See in this sample example and point out a mistake in the drafted mail. I have written it as follows. In the subject line, draft financial statements as at 31st March 2020. In the body of the mail, dear all, please find enclosed draft financial statements as at 31st March 2020. Kindly review and suggest if any changes to be incorporated. What's mistake in this? We cannot use I have enclosed in an email. We use only for letters. You can write here, please find attach draft financial statements as at 31st March 2020. Kindly review and suggest if any changes to be incorporated. That is correct. Your boss has wrote a mail to you that dear Preeti, please mail to priya.agarwal@google.com. You came to your desk and you write the mail to priya.agarwal@google.com. Later on, after few days, Priya has called up your boss that she haven't received the mail from our team. Then my boss has told me and I checked my mail. Then I noticed that it has been bounced back. I checked my boss mail. The spell was Priya, Priya dot agrawal@google.com. And what I have wrote is priya.agarwal instead of agrawal. So that's a spell error. We should always proofread it before sending the message. Write your email background. As you all probably know that every email should have a call to action. Therefore, you should always ask the specific information in the first sentence itself and then add the other information in the following paragraphs. Let's see the sample mails. In the sample mail, I have written the subject as Mr. Aditya Sharma. Visit on Tuesday, that is 1st October 2020 at 10:30 am. Subject is very clear, like Mr. Aditya Sharma is coming and he's coming on Tuesday, 1st October and timing 10:30 am. In the body of the mail, I will write as follows. I will mention here all the specific information in the first para itself. Like, please note that Mr. Aditya Sharma would be coming on this Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. for the final handover. And in the subsequent paragraphs, I will mention the remaining information. Like, since we have to close year-end books with notes, request you all to prepare and be ready with a list of queries relating to year-end closing. In the next para, also request you to be present on time. Let's see the sample mail sent to me by my boss. In this subject, he has wrote order discussion points FY 1920. In the body of the mail, he has wrote as, Dear Preeti, request you to please share with me attachments in 6 emails, considering they are heavy files from serial number 5 to 10, containing the raw files and working, both on priority. And in the second para, he has wrote as discussion notes that I prepared with you. You don't need to send me again. So this mail contains complete information, as well as, like in the first para, he has mentioned me the specific information that he asked. Like I have to send the data in 6 attachments separately, and I have to share both raw files as well as the working. Make use of spacing. It's actually not uncommon to receive mails with no breaks between lines, paragraphs, or new thoughts. Else it will seem a wall of text, which the reader wouldn't like to read it. So make sure to use proper spacing in between lines, sentences, paragraphs. Give context. Context here means the background of the mail. For example, we can write as follows. This is the report we discussed last meeting. We will see more sample examples on this to understand it better. See the sample example. I have written as follows. Please find attached mail dated so and so date on this subject. As confirmed by her, we are awaiting the data from your end to get back on this. So here the context is that please find attached mail dated so and so date and on this subject. See the sample example of mail as follows. In the body of the mail, I have written as, thank you for your mail last week. We would like to have another discussion on the critical issues faced in system implementation. So here the context is, thank you for your mail last week. See this example. I have written as follows. As discussed on call, I am sending you more detailed information about our next discussion. Stick to a single font. That means always keep the default email font and color. Never use neon colors or different colors or different font. This happens usually when you are copying and pasting information from other sites. So always do formatting before sending the mail. Defining role when mail sent to multiple people. Whenever you are sending mail to multiple people, please define their role in the work for each of them separately. Like this, Dear Tina, so and so work. Dear Manju, so and so work. Dear Madhu, so and so work. Dear Ramya, so and so work. So you have defined each one of their role separately. And also one more thing, if you don't know who will do the work in their team, then it is advisable to keep head of the team into the mail. If you are not sure who will be the best one to give response of your email from that team, dear sir or dear Rajiv. Use bold or underline only when your mail contains more important information or you want to ask a specific question. To highlight that message, you should use bold or underline. Never overuse it. Proofread everything. Like you have checked earlier in the sample mail for spell check. Similarly, you can check for your grammar mistakes. Also, you should make sure that if your mail contains any important dates, event titles, deadlines, and names, so that should be spelled correctly, as it is really annoying for the readers if any data is incorrect. So always reread it before you send to the participants. Keep your mails always short. You cannot write a blah blah story in this. No one is interested to read this. See the sample mail. In the subject, I have written Project Tikona, Tracker, Serial number 1, Rent Expenses. In the body of the mail, I have written Dear all, please find below information related to Serial number 1, Rent Expenses. First bullet point, second bullet point. Attaching here with the following files. So, I have kept my mail very short and I have bifurcated properly point wise or bullets you should use in your mail. Keep your signature simple. A signature should contain name, logo of the company, your designation, and it should also include your mobile number. Nowadays, work location is not so much important to keep in email signature. You can also set different sign off other than thanks and regards, your warm regards or best regards. You can use stay tuned, stay mellow. Also, you can write quote, but a short quote should be there. I usually place this code, there is no magic in magic. It's all in details. Walt Disney. We will discuss in more detail in upcoming videos regarding the signature. If you have any business tips of your own, leave them in comments box. I would love to hear them. And also give your suggestions for the next video. Thank you for watching.